Hi, I'm Jacinta Coonahan and this is Coast Community News 5 at 5, March 5th. Coming up this week, David Farmer is the new council CEO. Labor calls for a council reform. Rik Hart explains in detail the council's finances. Former Mayor Jane Smith weighs in. The Mariners steal the glory. And we take a look at the Central Coast's costumes for this weekend's Mardi Gras. But first, the new CEO of the Central Coast Council, Dave Farmer, was announced by Administrator Dick Person this week. Farmer will leave his current position as CEO at Ipswich City Council to start here on the Central Coast on April 12th. Here's a little of what he had to say.
This will require a lot of hard work by a lot of people over a long period of time to correct this, to turn this organisation from one that's extremely challenged at the moment into an organisation that its staff, the councillors and the community can be proud of. But I'm confident that we can do that, but I don't underestimate the amount of hard work that will require.
And straight after this announcement, the Labor MPs spoke out on their views on the council crisis. David has more.
Yes, JC, the New South Wales Labor Party held a press conference outside Wyong Council chambers to put their 3-point plan, which they want the local government minister, Shelley Hancock, to adopt. Here's the interview.
We have asked the government for three things, and we want Gladys Berejiklian to actually come forward and say that they will stump up. Firstly, we want a judicial inquiry. That is so important because we need to know what went wrong so it never happens again. The people of the coast don't deserve this and they want to make sure it never happens again. Secondly, we want the people of the coast to have an opportunity to vote with their feet whether they want to de-amalgamate. They were not given the opportunity when they were forced into amalgamation. So do the right thing, Gladys Berejiklian, and let them have that opportunity at the next election. And thirdly, we want this government and Gladys Berejiklian to foot the bill for their failed amalgamation.
We know for a fact, through Auditor General reports, that restricted funds have been accessed as far back as 2001. This is not new. And yet we find a government who wants to focus on the current council without taking any responsibility at all for forcing the councils together before they fix that culture.
And in an informative interview with acting CEO Rik Hart, he provided extensive explanation and timeline of how the council got to where it is. This interview has been uploaded to our website, so head there for the full uncut version. But here are a few grabs of what he had to say. All right, Rik, if you wouldn't mind taking us through the slides that you've so diligently prepared with staff.
Okay, well, thank you. What we'll do is we'll go way back to at the end of the financial year in June 13, and we'll just take it as we move forward with the changes in revenue and changes in staff costs, because that's been one of the key things that people have focused on, and we've certainly had to focus on in our time here. So if I go back to June 13, the blue line represents the income that we get from rates and water and sewer. So that blue line goes all the way down to here.
We also had a chat with the former Mayor Jane Smith, who explained her view and experience in her time in council. I think you'll enjoy this.
So the first time councillors became aware of it was the 6th of October, the long weekend, where we were, brought together and we were told that this was a serious financial situation. One of my frustrations is that the state government were notified on that date, and in fact the minister released a media release on that day saying that she wanted to support council, she would be providing a financial advisor and a HR advisor. So that happened on the 6th of October. Now, subsequent to that, those people didn't appear.
Now, JC, I think it's time to move on to other news.
Yes, thanks, David. There has been an update on PEP 11, with the big news being that PM Scott Morrison has officially said no to PEP 11. CCN reached out to Minister Keith Pitt, who said the decision will, quote, definitely won't be this week. We will keep you updated as the story develops. And quickly before we go to sport with Hawk and weather with our newest journalist, Harry, it is Clean Up Australia Day this weekend, so do your part, grab a bag and pick up some rubbish.
Thanks, JC. And for those of you who are planning on heading to Avoca Beach this weekend for the final 2 days of the Whistler, New South Wales and Cis Revolution Central Coast Pro qualifying series in the World Surf League's 2021 calendar, make sure to leave behind nothing but your footprints in the sand. At the conclusion of today's surf, Great Lakes Pro winner from Shelley Beach, Molly Picklum, is set against South African Sarah Baum in quarterfinal Heat 2, and Avoca local Macy Callaghan will face Maroubra Pro winner India Robinson in Heat 3. Fingers crossed for the success of our local champions. Now to the track and field. Mingara Athletics Club, who hosted the New South Wales Country Championships throughout last weekend, have now been confirmed as winners of the event's first place Hooper Cup. Here we see Gosford athlete Tyler Gunn striding well ahead of his competition in the 400-metre opens with an end time of 46.41 seconds. And finally, the Central Coast Mariners find themselves 4 points clear on top of the table after Tuesday night's 2-1 goal win over Perth Glory. An early lead on the end of veteran Matt Simon's 6th-minute goal, adding one more to his newfound scoring form, was maintained for the full 90 minutes, with Marcos Urena adding to it before the end of the first half. Now the Mariners will face second place MacArthur, and a win will see them launch themselves into a 7-point lead on the table. Now let's head to Harry for the weather.
Hi, this is the weekend forecast from the Bureau. Saturday will be partly cloudy with a slight chance of a shower. Winds will be southerly, 15 to 25 kilometres an hour, becoming lighter in the evening. A maximum of 23 degrees and a chilly nightly minimum of 16 degrees. Large and powerful surf conditions are expected to be hazardous for coastal activities such as rock fishing, swimming and surfing. The forecast for Sunday is again partly cloudy, with light winds becoming easterly, 15 to 25 kilometres an hour during the afternoon, then tending northeasterly, 15 to 20 kilometres an hour during the evening. A maximum of 25 degrees and a minimum of just 15 degrees is expected. The rain is expected to return early next week. Back to you, JC.
Thanks, Harry. Stories are developing across the coast every hour, so make sure you pick up a copy of this week's Coast Community News, Coast Community Chronicle and Pelican Post, or go to our website or Spotify and socials for all updates. Before we leave you, we want to remind you that it's Mardi Gras this weekend. We went along to the Central Coast's contingent's dress rehearsal to get a taste for their sea creature themed costumes and their routine. We hope you enjoyed this week's show, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
First of all, had me so emotional. It's just amazing to see everyone come together from all walks of life, from all over the coast, all ages, abilities, everything. It's such a mixed bag. But to see everyone come together in unity and celebration is so touching, and I just love seeing it unfold.
I don't know how many Mardi Gras I've done so far, but it's going to be a very different one, but we're thoroughly excited for it.
First year in Mardi Gras. It's all new to me, but I'm happy to feel like this is who I am, this is me. I only met myself 8 years ago. And I just want to be me, and these people make me feel like I'm part of something and I belong.
Coast, which is all about being on the coast. So we're sea creatures. So we've got coral fish and we've got jellyfish and seahorses and water nymphs. Yep. So